Brenda, good morning.
Good
Thanks
morning.
for coming in.
My pleasure.
Okay, so we are dealing with some nasty weather outside
yes.
today. There's rain coming down onto the snow and ice that's already down. So the ground is going to be treacherous and really dangerous in some areas for walking. So let's talk about if you're out walking today and you slip on the sidewalk, what do you need to know?
Right. So this time of year and the late fall are the most common times when we have people who are actually injured by slipping and falling. So today, everybody knows the weather is bad. You do have responsibility to take care. So make sure you're wearing proper footwear and head out. Keep your hands free to brace yourself. But if you do slip and fall and injure yourself, there's a few things that you have to do. One of them is, look after yourself medically. That is the #1 priority. We see a lot of people who have slipped and fallen and either broken their wrist or broken their ankle, and they live with it for a week or 10 days before they go to the doctor because they think it's not serious.
Right.
And in fact, the longer that your bones sit without being set properly, the more likely there are to be complications. So medical attention, #1.
Yeah.
But after that, there's some other things that you can do to protect yourself in case you do end up needing to claim for compensation. One of the things is to either yourself or have someone go and take pictures as soon as possible after the incident of where you fell.
And what kind of pictures? The where you fell, yourself, a little bit of all of that?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, starting with where you fell.
Okay.
Because with changing weather, that ice patch is there and then it's gone, or then it's somewhere else. So you want to try to capture that if you can. Now, one funny thing about pictures is sometimes, yes, I need to take a picture. Someone will take a picture of ice, but there's no perspective.
Okay.
Right? So it's a random picture of ice and you can't tell where it is. And, when you're taking the picture and you're injured, it may not be obvious. But listen to me now, and if this happens, try and take a picture where you can tell where you are on the sidewalk or the road, so that we can actually identify it later on.
So pictures that would be close up, but then also wide to show, let's say, for example, that sidewalk, showing maybe the businesses or the area's landmarks that surround it, relative to the snowbank next to it, and maybe even have someone, yourself or someone, stand in that spot exactly to show this is exactly the location where you fell?
That's great. Any kind of marker, because one of the problems we often have, a month or two after the accident, is identifying exactly where it is.
Right.
And that's our job. If we're trying to allege that you're entitled to compensation, we have to identify where you fell. So pinning that down is super important.
What about pictures of the person themselves?
Yeah, so if you've got bruising, marks, anything like that, it's really important to capture that too, because by the time you're dealing with compensation, hopefully you're healed, or at least the visible marks are gone.
Right.
So you do want to try to preserve those.
What do you do after that? So you've got your medical, you've seen a physician, you've taken pictures. What comes next?
So it's really, really important if you're on government property, whether it's municipal or provincial. We've got a municipal, provincial, and federal property in Ottawa. You want to make sure you give notice. So that doesn't mean starting a lawsuit, but it does mean let that government body know that you've had an accident in a certain area.
And why do you do that?
Well, there's actually in the Municipal Act and in different laws that govern our properties here in Ottawa, there's a rule that says you have to give notice within 10 days.
Oh.
So there are exceptions. So if you haven't given notice within 10 days, you should still talk to a lawyer because it may be possible to get around it. But the best thing you can do is give notice within 10 days.
And so then what happens? Would you expect a response from them?
Yeah, so the City of Ottawa is pretty good about acknowledging your claim and telling you that they're going to do an investigation, and then generally telling you that their investigation establishes that they are not responsible. That's typically what happens.
Sure.
And then that would be a good time to call a lawyer.
Okay. And we're